It's a great joy this morning to wish you a very, very happy Easter. Now, I just want to say before we begin that next Sunday begins our Hope 25 series on hope. And next Sunday, we're so blessed to have with us Bishop Richard Condy from Tasmania and his theme, Hope for the Hopeless. I've seen the message. It's wonderfully clear and encouraging, and I hope that you'll be back next Sunday and perhaps invite somebody for whom that would be a help. Well, let's begin our Easter reflection this morning. Friends, I want to make clear that either Jesus was a nobody or there was no body at the tomb. And if there was no body at the tomb, that would mean that far from being a nobody, Jesus was actually God visiting our planet, that he was who he said he was, that he died for our sin and was raised for our life. That little space between the no and the body, that makes all the difference. So what do you think? Was Jesus a nobody? Or was there no body? Here's my concern. Many Australians will say, yes, there was no body. They'll nod along with the Easter story. Yes, he rose from the dead and he's God's son and he matters. But when it comes to how we live, many of us live as if he were a nobody. Just some religious figure from another time. Interesting maybe, but largely irrelevant. So what really happened that first Easter morning? As the women approached the tomb, they found the stone had been rolled away. In some cases, in some regards, that was a relief because they'd been wondering who would do that for them. But on the other hand, it raised some questions. They had been there on Friday night as the tomb was sealed, and now it was open. Who had been there? What had happened? So the stone was rolled away, and then there was this angel, dazzling clothes, with a message that would change history. Why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here, he is risen. There was no body. The tomb was empty. And soon there were people who saw Jesus alive. Luke tells us that the apostles didn't believe the women. Their words seemed like nonsense, verse 11. But Peter ran to the tomb and found it just as they'd said. The linen cloths and no body. And we know from early Christian testimony, reported in 1 Corinthians 15, that eyewitnesses saw him. He appeared to the 12 and then to more than 500 people at once. They talked to him. The Gospels tell us that the apostles ate with him and touched him. People saw Jesus alive. So friends, we have all the evidence that you'd expect if Jesus had risen from the dead. An empty tomb, no body, people who saw him, and a movement that spread right across the world. He is not here. He has risen. What do you think? Was Jesus a nobody? Or was there no body? If Jesus was a nobody, just a teacher or a healer or a miracle worker or a founder of some new religion or a martyr for his cause, then he's a fascinating, interesting, engaging man, and he's good to study and interesting to read up on and to philosophize about and to compare with other such religious figures. But that's it. No more to be said. He's dead and gone. He's of historical value. He's of religious curiosity. He's good for books and films and departments of history. But no more. Actually, if he's just a nobody, then he's actually worse than irrelevant. He was obviously deluded. He was a liar. He was a failure. He claimed to be God's son, the Messiah, a king. But if he didn't rise, then none of those things are true. And we should stop pretending otherwise. But if there was no body, that changes everything. Because if there was no body, friends, God has turned up. Jesus is God. If there was no body, his death was not martyrdom, but sacrifice. If there was no body, then everything, he says, matters, not just the bits we like. If there was no body, then he took my place. He paid my debt. He dealt with my sin. He saved me from death. If there was no body, then I have life. I have hope. I have forgiveness. I have a future. And maybe, just maybe, he has more to offer than I have to lose by getting involved with him. Maybe he deserves more attention than I've been given him. If there was no body, then there is life and hope and forgiveness and a future. There's fulfillment and joy. There's peace and perspective. There's purpose and direction. There are answers. If there was no body, then Jesus is Lord. He's King. He's calling the shots. The world does not revolve around me. It revolves around him. If there was no body, then he's actually more important than me, my job, my plans, my family, my bank balance. He matters more than getting ahead, making my mark, enhancing my reputation, building my career. What do you think? Was Jesus a nobody? Or was there no body? Which story does your life tell? That Jesus was a nobody, or there was no body? We fool ourselves when we act like Jesus can be sort of important. We mustn't live as if Jesus was just a little bit important, or important sometimes, like at Christmas and Easter, or important for kids, or for women, or for old people, or for church people. Because there's nothing in between. Either he's a nobody or there was no body. And if there was no body and people saw him alive, then he is risen. And if he is risen, we are risen with him. If he is risen, our sin has been forgiven. If he is risen, eternal life is ours. If he is risen, he cannot possibly just be a little bit important. I urge you to start a journey this Easter. A journey back to Jesus, or a journey to him for the first time. To start an investigation. Don't settle for vague belief or even vague unbelief. There's more to know. There's more to gain. He is not here. He is risen. There was no body. People saw him alive. And that changes everything. Happy Easter.